Skinks are lizards belonging to the family Scincidae and the infraorder Scincomorpha. With more than 1,500 described species, the Scincidae is one of the most diverse families of lizards. Description: Skinks look roughly like true lizards, but most species have no pronounced neck and the legs are relatively small. Several genera have no limbs at all. Other genera, such as Neoceps, have reduced limbs, lacking forelegs, and with fewer than 5 toes on each foot. In such species, the locomotion resembles that of snakes more than that of lizards with well-developed limbs. As a general rule, the longer the digits, the more arboreal the species is likely to be. A biological ratio can determine the ecological niche of a given skink species. The Scincidae Ecological Niche Index is a ratio based on anterior foot length at the junction of the ulnar, radius carpal bones to the longest digit, divided by the snout to vent length. Most species of skinks have long, tapering tails they can shed if predators grab onto them. Such species generally can regenerate the lost part of a tail, though imperfectly. Species with stumpy tails have no special regenerative abilities. Some species of skinks are quite small. Cinchella lateralis typically ranges from 7.5 to 14.5 centimeters, more than half of which is the tail. Most skinks, though, are medium-sized, with snout-to-vent lengths of about 12 centimeters, although some grow larger. The Solomon Islands skink is the largest known extant species and may attain a snout-to-vent length of some 35 centimeters. History: skink-like lizards first appear in the fossil record about 140 million years ago, during the early Cretaceous, mostly jawbones that appear very skink-like. Definitively skink fossils appear later, during the Miocene period. The word skink comes from Classical Greek skinkos, a name that referred to various specific lizards of the region. Diet: skinks are generally carnivorous and in particular insectivorous. Typical prey includes flies, crickets, grasshoppers, beetles, and caterpillars. Various species also eat earthworms, millipedes, snails, slugs, isopods and moths and other lizards, and small rodents. Some species, particularly those favored as home pets, have more varied diets and can be maintained on a regimen of roughly 60% vegetables, leaves, fruit and 40% meat. Behavior: a trait that is apparent in nearly all species of skink is a love of digging and burrowing. Most spend their time underground where they are mostly safe from predators, sometimes even digging out tunnels for easy navigation. They also use their tongues to sniff the air and track the prey. When they encounter the prey, they chase it down until they corner it and manage to land a bite and then swallow it whole. Habitat: as a family, skinks are cosmopolitan. Species occur in a variety of habitats worldwide, apart from boreal and polar regions. Various species occur in ecosystems ranging from deserts and mountains to grasslands. Many species are good burrowers. More species are terrestrial or fossorial than arboreal or aquatic species. Some are sand swimmers, especially the desert species, such as the mole skink or sand skink in Florida. Some use a very similar action in moving through grass tussocks. Most skinks are diurnal and typically bask on rocks or logs during the day. Breeding: although most species of skinks are oviparous, laying eggs in clutches, some 45% of skink species are viviparous in one sense or another. Many species are ovoviviparous, the young developing less orthotrophically in eggs that hatch inside the mother's reproductive tract, and emerging as live births. In some genera, however, such as Tiliqua and Corucia, the young developing in the reproductive tract derive the nourishment from a mammal-like placenta attached to the female. Unambiguous examples of viviparous matrotrophy Furthermore, an example recently described in Trachylepes evansi is the most extreme to date, a purely reptilian placenta directly comparable in structure and function to a eutherian placenta. It is clear that such vivipary repeatedly has developed independently in the evolutionary history of the Scincidae, and that the different examples are not ancestral to the others. In particular, placental development of whatever degree in lizards is phylogenetically analogous, rather than homologous to functionally similar processes in mammals, and the two have nothing to do with each other. Nesting. Skinks typically seek out sheltered environments out of the elements, such as thick foliage, underneath man-made structures, and ground-level buildings such as garages and first-floor apartments. When two or more skinks are seen in a small area, it is typical to find a nest nearby. Skinks are considered to be territorial and often are seen standing in front of or guarding the nest area. If a nest is nearby, one can expect to see 10 to 30 lizards within the period of a month. In parts of the southern United States, it is quite common to find nests within houses and apartments, especially along the coast. Predators. Raccoons, foxes, possums, snakes, coatish crows, cats, dogs, herons, hawks, lizards, and other predators of small land vertebrates also prey on various skinks. This can be troublesome, given the long gestation period for some skinks, making them an easy target to predators like the mongoose, which often threaten the species to at least near extinction, such as the anguilla bank skink lizard. Genera. Many large genera, Mabuya for example, have still insufficiently studied, and the systematics is at times controversial. See for example the taxonomy of the western skink, Ulysses skiltonianus. Mabuya in particular is being split, many species being allocated to new genera such as Trachylepes, Chioninia, and Eutropes. Blood color. Skinks in the genus Prasinoema have green blood because of a buildup of the waste product biliverdin.